In just a moment, how to find bright spots in the falling housing market. Plus, flying is stressful enough these days without having to wait several days to catch a flight. Why so many flights are being canceled today? We'll talk about that. And Hillary like you've never seen her before nor ever imagined. Letters that show her progression from civic-minded Republican to social reformer today. More on that in just a few, but right now. I got some front property. We've been talking about it for a long time, especially in the wake of the volatility of the market. The market coming off its worst week in nearly 5 years. Housing figures helping to spur the slide. But you can find some good news in this bad news market. President of Barak Realty, Barak Dunayer, gives us his take on the market madness. Welcome to the show today.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Okay, so you still have the optimism of hope that besides the market being where it is today, that we can still make money in the housing market?
Well, I think real estate is not a national market, it's a local market. I am not a national expert, but I'm a New York expert. And the numbers in New York, the real estate market has just been on fire.
Well, some people are particularly concerned these days because of what happened last week on Wall Street. They're waiting for the shoe to drop, and I'm talking about interest rates. Should they rise or should they fall? And depending on what the Federal Reserve decides to do, it's going to stipulate what kind of optimism is out there or confidence.
Well, I think what's happening nationally is that in some places in the country, house prices are going down and banks are tightening their lending practices. So in essence, people out there can no longer feel as wealthy as before and can no longer use their homes as ATM machines and finance other goods and services, which in turn can lead to decline in consumer spending, decline in corporate profits, less business investments, all major drivers of the economy, and eventually could lead to a recession.
All right, so what should people do at this particular point in time?
My people in New York at Barak Realty are really as busy as ever. The numbers in New York, if I only look at the second quarter, are staggering. Inventory is down over 30%. The number of sales the second quarter this year over last year is doubled, over 100%. Time on the market is less. We have bidding wars again. There's no negotiability.
Yeah, but what are the solutions out there? What can people, like the average person living out there, what should they be doing right now in terms of the solutions for banks and mortgages and even being cautious?
Well, if you're talking nationally, I think the banks have responsibility to reach out to those people who took out subprime mortgages before they hit their payment shock.
That's a very good point. And then also banks must offer some alternatives for them as well. The Federal Reserve, we talked about keeping the interest rates down, and then lower interest rates will make it easier for people to get out there and borrow the money they need.
Absolutely, and banks need to work with them. All those banks that were pushing subprime loans to those poor borrowers out there, they should definitely work with them to refinance and offer them more options.
And on that note, we'll end it there. There should be an air of optimism out there after all, if everyone does exactly what you say.
Okay. New York City market is hot. It's never been hotter, and I encourage all of you to go out there and make the best investment in your life.
Not everyone's going to move to New York, though, but thank you so much. Vice President Dick Cheney's legacy is already established, at least at the half-hour news. See how they think history will judge him. You're watching Fox and Friends.